Hey everyone, Janet here at 4-H. For today's project, we are actually going to make some music for the backyard or for your front door. What we're going to make today are some recycled wind chimes, and what we will need: an adult to help you do some cutting today. You'll also need a water bottle, box cutter, hole punch, scissors, a couple different size paint brushes, a ruler, fishing line, a clean, dry yogurt cup for your paint, some paper towels to clean up any messes that you may have, along with a bunch of different color craft paints and different sized old keys that don't go to anything anymore that you can paint and hang up. These are going to be the chime part of our recycled wind chimes today. So to get started, what we need to do is have your adult help you cut your water bottle. We're actually going to use the tops of the water bottles today. You will need your lids as well. What we're going to do is to make a cut with the box cutter. And you can make these as big as you want. I'm just using the top circular line on this water bottle. Just going to make a little bit of a cut to start the cutting process, and then use my scissors to cut the top of the water bottle off and make sure it's fairly even. Okay, once I get that off, save this. You might need the bottom for something else, starting seeds or some other cool science project or craft project. Once I'm happy that this is fairly even, my next step is to take my hole punch and just figure out where I'd like to punch some holes. These will be the holes that we're going to tie our keys onto to make our wind chime. It's always a good idea to have an even number of holes so that your wind chime is balanced and that the holes are roughly the same distance up into the bottle, trying to stay away from the edge so you don't hole punch through the edge. All right, once you have your holes in, you should have punched out the entire hole. If you didn't, please make sure you take the scissors and cut the little piece of plastic so it's not in our way. What we're going to do next is to actually take the top, we're going to paint inside of it to give it a little bit more color. So what we're going to do is just choose a color of paint. I'm actually going to pour my paint right into the lid and paint out of it. I'm fond of bright colors, so we're going to use a nice neon yellow today. Whoop. This will take a good amount of time to dry, probably all day. You want to put it on thick so you don't have to do 2 coats and that the entire inside is covered with no streaks showing. So I'm just going to take my bigger brush and just gently pull the paint up the side, trying not to get it outside of the hole like I just did. If I do, just turn it a little bit and have the paint come on back inside. Take a portion of your brush that doesn't have paint and just kind of wipe it off. And what we're going to do is just kind of cover the whole side. You can see how mine is looking a little streaky. Whoop, Janet made a mess. If you do get some paint on the outside, no problem, wipes right off the plastic real nice. Just keep on pulling the paint right up the side. I'm going to try to get this on a little bit thicker. This color is not quite working with me here. Now we're painting the inside of our bottle so that when your wind chime is outside, the weather won't affect the paint as much, won't cause it to peel off or flake off quite as badly because you have the bottle, the outside of the bottle to protect it. All right. Well, you can see my yellow's a little bit streaky here. We're actually going to need to put 2 coats on this once it's dry, just to get rid of those streaks. Unless you like the look, then feel free to leave it. So I'm just going to set my bottle top down to dry. Now, what do I do with all this paint on my paintbrush still? Easy solution. I'm going to find a thinner paintbrush out of my bucket. I'm going to take one of my keys. I'm going to put my key on my paintbrush to hold it. I'm going to paint my first key this color. Now, why did I put this on the paintbrush to hold it? It's so I can paint both sides at the same time without having to set the key down on my newspaper, which you should have to cover your table, your work surface. So I'm just going to give it a coat of paint. And then, once I have my key painted, this one will definitely need a second coat. Hanging on my paintbrush, I'm just going to set out 2 bottles of paint and just hang my key. Put my paintbrush across the top. Let me turn it this way. Put it across the top so that my key is hanging and drying at the same time. You want nice even colors on your keys as well, no streaks. And this will probably take 4 to 6 hours, maybe less, to dry on your keys. So while everything is drying, I'm going to get going on painting my other keys. I have 7 in total for my wind chime today. Once everything's dry, we'll put it all together. Our paint is pretty much dry, so we're going to do the next step of our key wind chimes. We are going to cut our fishing line to hang our keys from. So our fishing line here, I've also got the ruler because we really want our keys to hang at the same level, the same length, so that when the wind blows, it blows them together and they make noise. Now I'm using fishing line. You can use something else if you'd like, string, baling twine, yarn, whatever you've got. Fishing line is probably going to be a little bit harder to unwind if the wind blows it and the keys tangle, so just be aware of that. But it should hold up better than yarn outside, especially in the rain and the sun. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to make 12-inch strips or 12-inch pieces. I need 7 of these. I have 7 keys to hang. So just find my end. Pull my fishing line down right here, mark it with my fingers, scissors. Boom, 1 12-inch piece. Now you can use the ruler to measure out every single piece that you're going to be needing, or you can just hold up your original piece to your spool of fishing line and just measure using the existing piece. Right. $12 inches, so I have 2 pieces here. I'm just going to start tying. One lesson I learned doing this project, if you have brass colored keys or dark colored keys, non-silver keys, don't use a light colored paint. This was my brass key that I painted a neon yellow. It does have 2 coats of paint on it, but it's still pretty streaky, so good lesson learned there. Dark keys get dark colored paint. So we're just going to carefully tie our keys. Some square knots should be fine. Fishing line, a little bit tricky. I would suggest 2 or 3 square knots. All right, so I have my key hanging. Our next step is to take all of the holes, which you can see in this dark green lid that I did much earlier, so it would definitely be dry. and you're just going to thread your keys through the hole. You can leave this tipped upright just to make sure that it's easier to reach the hole punches at the edge of the bottle. A couple 3 square knots on this one as well. If you've gotten your holes quite close to the edge of your bottle, feel free to consider maybe a little dab of hot glue, not too much, we don't want to melt the plastic. Or even running some duct tape around the edge of your water bottle, which would give your water bottle top just a little bit more decoration. All right, so to get started, this is what I've got, and I'm going to get the rest of my keys tied on, and then we will take our project and show you how to make the main hanger. So I have all of my keys on my wind chime. I don't know if you guys can hear, but they make a really nice sound. My next step is to actually create a hanger. For this project, you could have put a hole in the top after all the paint was dry with a drill and just strung a string, tied a knot through the top, or you can take a dab of hot glue, put that on the lid itself right in the center to center your wind chime, or you can do what I'm going to do and actually take some twine around the base, the neck of the bottle here, just below the top, and I'm going to tie a piece around it and have 2 strings coming up from the top to finish it, to hang it. Remember, whenever you're hanging your wind chimes, to place them in an area that they won't get tangled in any trees or bushes, and listen to them all summer long. Hope you had fun making this project. Whoop, my paint's not dry. To find out more about Shenango County 4-H, visit us on the web, visit us on our Facebook page, Shenango County 4-H, and our YouTube channel, Shenango County 4-H. Have a great day.